Welcome back for another episode. We hope you guys enjoyed your holidays, enjoyed your Christmas with your family. Well, we're back for another one. Now it's just about that time. The NFL season is about to wrap up and get ready for real football time, playoff time, real football time, cold weather football. Now it's time for the big dogs to show what they got, to stand out. The ones that's supposed to be standing at the end are going to be standing at the end. So we're about to get into it. We got playoff football to talk about today. Obviously in the AFC and the NFC, for the most part, you got your top three teams locked. In the AFC, you got the Chiefs, Steelers, Bills. And then in the NFC, you got your Packers, Saints, and Seahawks. 4 through 6 is a hunt right now. For seeding. It's going to come down to a few teams. In the AFC, you got Tennessee, you got the Browns, you got the Colts, and Miami and Baltimore has a sleeper. Just sneak in there. And then in the NFC, you got Washington, Rams, Bucks, and then you got Cardinals and Bears to be a sleeper in there. So with the playoffs about to start, obviously we got Green Bay and Kansas City being the top seeds. But how do you like the matchup so far?
It's going to be exciting because anything where, especially in the AFC, you have Mahomes and you have Roethlisberger. They're playing very well. And then don't sleep on Josh Allen. Bills been playing well. They're going to continue to be playing well coached. They don't make a lot of mistakes. And then if it comes down to it being a kick away, they got Tyler Bass over there. I got to watch all through college with a big leg, and he is money. So I like how that is going over in the AFC. And in the NFC, Aaron Rodgers is always going to be there with his discount double check. Then you got New Orleans has a rested QB because he was hurt. So
I don't necessarily call that arrested.
Well, all the other part of his body, he was just, healing his ribs. But Drew Brees is rested in terms of not having to play all these weeks. And somehow, some way, they kept winning with Taysom Hill. That screams to me just the absolute top coaching job. Because if you can plug and play like that, Sean Payton is one of the best.
He definitely deserves
He's going to be a Hall of Famer. So then, of course, the Seahawks. You can never, ever, ever count out the Seahawks.
Absolutely not.
Russell Wilson is always going to have them in a position to win, and DK Metcalf is just scratching the ceiling of what he could be.
I agree. I think the top three teams in the NFC was definitely a lock. If you look at the landscape of the league starting this year, AFC, it's a little sleeper. I didn't expect the Steelers to be so high and to have the year they had, and definitely the Bills. I knew the Bills were going to be good. They should have been in the playoffs, especially they were there last year. But being so high that they are this year, Josh Allen being in the MVP talks, Stephon Diggs having the season he had. But with the seeding, I'm going to give you an upset.
Mm-hmm. For both AFC and NFC?
Mostly for AFC. I don't have an upset for NFC just yet.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Steelers might lose.
Wow.
I'm not too sold on them.
Yeah, I could see where that comes from, but it always depends on the matchup.
It does depend on the matchup, but I want to say no because I trust Mike Tomlin because he's been there before.
Mm-hmm.
But some reason, somehow, Steelers give me regular season vibes a little bit.
That's
like Claypool's playing out his, he's playing great. He had a great year. Juju had a pretty good year. I don't know. They had a great year. They're playing well, but I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be that one Sunday, and it's gonna be them, and it's gonna be any given Sunday, and then boom, it happens.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I think the Steelers might lose first or second round.
Yeah. There are some interesting prospects here. You got the Dolphins. You got the Ravens. The Browns. What in the world? Listen, the Dolphins are 9-5. The Browns are 9-4. What year is? First of all, it's not even what year because Cleveland Browns never been this good. I don't remember them being this good. Not in my life. I'm
Not
30
mine
years
either.
old. So I remember the Dolphins being this good, but that was
Ricky
20 years
Williams.
ago. So it's interesting when you have these guys. I think Baker Mayfield is playing very well, and Tua, they both have had their mistakes, but it's good to see good quarterback play for these type of teams because they haven't had it in so long. So you finally get to see what the other parts of the teams were about. They get to shine a little bit more because they can depend on a great quarterback.
Yeah, that's true. Baker's somewhat kind of proven the analysts and even me a little bit wrong this year. He didn't have a phenomenal year, but he definitely had a better year than last year, and especially he's playing without Odell. Odell's out, and the Browns, they done stepped it up. Tennessee's right back where they were last year. Derrick Henry probably going to win. I think it's between him and Dalvin, but I think Derrick Henry should get rushing leader this year. That dude's a beast. I don't think anybody wants to stay in Derrick Henry's way. I don't know what that man trains, eats, what he does, because he's
How
just.
do you tackle someone like
You
that?
don't tackle him. You just hope he runs out of bounds. But to the NFC side, like you said, I thought when Drew Brees just got out and then Michael Thomas is out for a couple games, I said, New Orleans is about to lose it. But then again, their division is so weak. They still are in the hunt, and not only the hunt, they kept on winning, like you said, and now they got a playoff lock. And again, outside of maybe Rodgers, Brady, and of course Pat Mahomes now, you don't bet against Drew Brees too often. I know he's coming off an injury. I know he's much older now, but he's been in this place before. He's a Super Bowl winner. Drew Brees can't get the job done.
Yeah, the NFC in general is pretty weak. You got the top 5: Packers, Saints, Seahawks, Rams, Bucks. After that, there's a little bit of a drop off, and because there's two, you got the NFC East and the NFC South. That's just so weak.
Yeah.
So,
but the matchup I'm looking for is the second round, which I think both of them should make it to the second round. Is Green Bay, Seattle. I think that might be the game of the whole playoffs.
I would go on.
And whoever wins that game is going to the Super Bowl.
I would venture to say it's going to be Seattle. Wow. I'm taking Seattle.
Wow.
Man. I'm taking Seattle.
Wow.
I believe in Russell Wilson, man.
Over A-Rod,
Man.
Mr. Double Check.
Russell Sierra Wilson.
Not Sierra.
He just been on since he married Sierra, he been on another one, man. He been on one.
But Aaron Rodgers is like, his ratio is like 30-1 for picks. Like,
Yeah. But that don't matter when they get into the playoffs. So.
it does. His playoff numbers don't sink.
But I'm just saying the stats don't matter.
I mean, the stats don't matter,
0-0.
but I'm sorry, I'm going with Green Bay.
Okay.
Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers. Give me that any day.
Yeah.
Give me that any day. And Aaron Rodgers is balling right now. He balling. And outside of Brady, there's too many people you don't bet against in the league. And Aaron Rodgers one of them. Ask the Dallas Cowboys. He's torched them a few times in the past, in the playoffs.
You would definitely know a lot better than me because I got my hands full with all the teams that I'm watching.
So, I definitely would like that matchup. And again, like I said, whoever wins that matchup, I think they will represent the NFC in the championship game. Now that we boil down to the end of the season, obviously, I think there's only 2 contenders left. But, you can throw that third one in for MVP. We got Rodgers, Mahomes, and then Russell. I think Russell kind of messed it up for himself as far as taking the MVP this year. In the beginning of this year, he was my number 1 candidate, but things has changed. I'm going with Pat Mahomes again. Win it again.
Yep.
There's no drop off. There's no dip. He's right back where he is. He even got his tight end to be the number 1 receiving yard receptionist this year in Travis Kelce. Kansas City right now is 12-1. Probably after today 13-1. I don't see no stopping this man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the youngest to 100 touchdowns. It looks like he might be right back in the Super Bowl again. Great numbers again, and it is like he said, I'm not just going to leave off where I left off last year. I'm going to take it up a level, and I got paid. Usually, when guys get paid, that next year they take a little dip.
That's what I was gonna say. You don't pay him $500 million
for nothing, right? And he's showing you that he's worth every penny. So I'm taking Pat Mahomes, but it's going to come very close. I would not be mad if A-Rod get it, only because A-Rod is much younger. We did expect Packers to have a good year, but we didn't expect them to have a year like this. And then A-Rod, 400 touchdowns. And I think if I'm not mistaken, ESPN has said he threw 30 picks in the past 5 years.
That's crazy. Just the picture.
He don't throw picks.
Yeah.
He doesn't throw picks. So I really won't be mad if, and before Pat Mahomes came into the league, Aaron Rodgers was my favorite quarterback. But and he still is. I'm a very big Pat Mahomes fan, but A-Rod is kind of like LeBron of the league right now. He's the older vet, but still balling at a very high level.
Yeah.
I even take A-Rod over Tom Brady, to be honest with you.
Yeah, of course.
But
at this stage in their careers.
And even no, not even this stage, like just a whole career in total, like take the championships out of it, I'm still taking A-Rod over Tom Brady. Yeah, I said it. I'm taking A-Rod over Tom Brady.
I do not agree. We talking about a GOAT. I mean, they're both the GOAT, but you.
So you tell me if A-Rod played for New England, he would have 6 also?
I'm not even factoring that in. I'm just going by the brilliance of the quarterbacks, and I think Tom Brady is, to me, the greatest quarterback of all time. That hurts me to say because I'm a Dolphins fan.
That's true, but hey, I mean, as of now, I think I'll stand on taking.
Then I would
A-Rod.
put Peyton at 2.
Oh, now that's when it becomes debatable.
Mm-hmm.
That's
between him and Aaron Rodgers, because you can't cut out the championships. You have to add the championships in there.
But in football, it's way like basketball. Yes, it's a team sport, but individuality takes a big portion of that.
Mm-hmm.
Football, not so much. It's really a team sport because quarterback can't play both sides of the ball.
That's true.
And you gotta throw in for luck, injuries, matchups, all that. So, football, you can be a beast in your own position, but it's more team oriented than a lot of other sports. But Tom Brady could be the GOAT. But if I was a GM and there was a pool, I'm taking Aaron Rodgers, number 1.
And Tom Brady is how old?
41, I believe.
And Aaron Rodgers is only 37. So, he's got 3,828 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So you telling me for every 10 touchdowns you threw, you only threw one?
Maybe one pick.
One pick? 10-1. That's unbelievable. So he definitely puts it up there. And really, he's lost so many. I remember, who was it? Was it Randall Cobb that he had? Yeah. Then he had
Greg Jennings.
But who was that wide receiver he had?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That everyone was so up in arms about when they lost him, and saying that Aaron Rodgers was not going to, do anything without him.
Oh man,
I don't remember the name. I kind of put you on the spot, but
yeah, you did.
You can Google it, but I'm, when you're such a great quarterback, it doesn't really matter who's there, who's not there. You can make it work. Aaron Rodgers has clearly showed that. I think when it's all said and done, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers will be. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be the greatest of all time. I think Brady's definitely gonna take that because of the championships, but I think he could squarely be number 2.
You could. I mean, well, we still have that bad boy in Kansas City to play out his career. True. And the way he's going right now, he might pass all of them.
Yeah.
But to go back what you say, Jordy Nelson. That's what he's thinking about. Jordy Nelson. Yeah. But yeah, I think I totally agree with what you say. But that's being a little played with right now. That bad boy in Kansas City, he already has a Super Bowl under his belt. He's already an MVP. And from the looks of right now, he look like he's not stopping anytime soon. So he might pass Rodgers, Peyton, and Tom when all said and done, especially if he can stay healthy and have a long career, for sure. But yeah, the MVP race, I think right now, Russell kind of messed it up for himself. I think it's just down to Rodgers and Mahomes, and I'm taking Mahomes again for the repeat. Yeah. But I would not be mad if A-Rod won it, especially with his age and what the way Green Bay is playing right now, and the way A-Rod is putting up numbers right now this season. I really would not be mad at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins it.
So we're only about what, a month and maybe a week or two away. Mm-hmm. Who you got in the Super Bowl? The COVID Super Bowl.
I'm going with Kansas City and Green Bay.
But you did say Seattle was going to beat Green Bay in the second round.
Oh, I did say that.
So you got Seattle.
Ooh, man. Am I walking myself back? Oh, man.
You might have to retrace that pick.
Okay, let's put it this way. Like you said, whoever wins that game is going to the Super Bowl.
So you got Seattle.
I might have.
So now you have to revisit that matchup.
I do because there's a lot of other things that go into it. Okay, I'm gonna stick with Seattle because I like their defense over
Green
Bay's defense.
Okay,
being the fact that they added the Prez,
Mr. Jamal
Adams. I do like their defense a little bit better, and I think they'll be able to get enough pressure on Aaron Rodgers to where they would win that game. So I'm not walking it back just yet.
Okay. So I got
Kansas City versus Seahawks.
I got the protege of Aaron Rodgers. I got KC versus Green Bay. Okay. In a shootout.
You know, people want to see that.
There's going to be a shootout. I got Green Bay. I got Aaron Rodgers. I like the storyline. Aaron Rodgers haven't been in the Super Bowl since 2011. Mm-hmm. Hasn't won one. It's definitely time. And the biggest stipulation for Aaron Rodgers is they always say he has not won 2 Super Bowls yet. He only has 1. You need to win 2 to get into that elite class in the NFL.
The battle of the State Farm quarterbacks.
And and that also, and also it's a good storyline because Pat Mahomes can go for another Super Bowl back to back. Obviously with Kansas City, so both of them have something to play for.
Is that the last time that happened? Was that the Patriots that did that?
As far as
back to back, I think the Patriots were the last to do that.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody's done. Seahawks had their chance if they just handed the ball off to Marshawn, but Patriots the last team. It's very hard to go back to back in the NFL, man. It's hard to go back to back in any sport, but I think NFL is the hardest because you literally have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. And you gotta have a lot of breaks go your way because injuries are a part of the
game. Injuries, even matchups where you seeded. Because I think in the NFL, home field advantage, obviously not this year because of COVID, but home field advantage plays a factor. Because I'll be honest with you, if I was in the NFL, I would not want to be playing in the cold. If I was a dome team, I want to play in the dome. So a lot of those things play a factor. But yeah, Patriots was the last team that won back-to-back Super Bowls, and I don't think. Well, maybe this year with KC, but we might not see that for a while.
Yeah.
Especially the way the leagues are going. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of different talent, people moving around a little bit more now than back then. So the landscape of the league changes every, 2 years now?
But I think what we are seeing in multiple sports, not just the NFL, but specifically in the NFL and in KC, the youngins are getting it done.
Absolutely.
And that is something that's pleasing to these billionaire owners because they don't have to pay them as much. But I see that. It's like, I always ask, man, what's in the water? Because these kids are coming out ready in the NBA and NFL, even the NHL.
They're training with the elites.
Yeah. And, everything goes in that 20-year cycle. So I feel like we're finally seeing the results of people, like you said, training, taking things a little bit more serious earlier in life. So for us, back when we were hooping, you always wanted to be on the 8th grade elite team. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Now it's all the way down into the younger levels. We think about Norcross High School here in Georgia. I mean, they've got farm systems all the way down. Yeah. It's almost as if once the child is born, it's like, all right, he's going to play for this team, he's going to play for that team. So you're starting to see finally the athleticism for example, Patrick Mahomes, being that he played baseball as well. You're seeing all of this shine.
Kyler Murray too.
Which is Kyler Murray. Yeah, exactly. I forgot about that. So the kids are all right. The kids are getting it done.
Also, I think it's the training. Obviously, science has advanced, technology has advanced, but also you got to think about this. Here's another big factor. It's the availability of information. Remember, YouTube came out in 2006. We're about to go into 2021. So
1 year after Aaron Rodgers was drafted.
Exactly. So the kid that started playing sports in 2006 got most of his career where he gets to watch clips and clips and clips and clips all day, every day of his favorite player or the best player in that position, on top of watching NFL games. See, back in the day, you didn't really get to see a star player play unless you was at the game,
right,
or you paid for cable, right? So now, I mean, you got YouTube TV, you got NFL League Pass, you got regular YouTube, you got Instagram, you got Twitter, you got so many platforms.
Network.
Yeah, you got so many platforms to watch games and watch players and watch film. So now your process and knowledge of the game is being sped up, rather than somebody back in the day where it's like, you probably had to pay for a VHS clip of training of a top elite guy, and God forbid even having access. Think about it. The kids nowadays can literally go on their page and DM DK Metcalf. They can DM Stephon Diggs. They can DM Odell. And if you're nice enough, they'll respond and be like, yo, on off season, come out to Cali. Come out to Atlanta. Come train with me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You have direct access to these guys. Back in the day, that was a hell no. Who was contacting Jerry Rice in high school to come train with him? That wasn't happening. You see what I'm saying? So that alone, and getting training from the top guys, meaning you're learning the NFL stuff in middle school and high school. So your footwork, your training, your physicality is getting groomed. So that's why you got Chase Young now, who's a rookie, but he's playing like he's an 8-year vet.
Think of guys like, or another school here in Georgia that's top in the nation every year. Grayson.
Absolutely.
Jake Garcia, their QB, transferred over from California and went to Grayson, and he just signed.
Putting up big numbers.
He put up huge numbers. But we watched it. I think we were watching the game together, and we're like, these are grown men.
6'4", 6'6".
It's crazy.
200 all the way up to 250. Running plays like they're in the NFL.
Pro-style offenses.
Pro-style. High octane offense.
And don't get me started on their campuses. It's not just a high school. It's just not just a high school building. They have campuses. Grayson is expansive. And it's because of the football, especially in Georgia. Football is king.
Yeah. That's, well, not only in Georgia, in the South, period.
Yeah, in the South, period, yeah.
Anything probably from Virginia down, football is everything. But we have something very special this year. Well, it might not be too special to some people, but for the first time in over a decade, the Patriots is not going to be in the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
I can't believe I'm saying this.
I don't care nothing about the Pats.
For 80% of my life, I've seen the Patriots in the playoffs. I've seen Tom Brady in the playoffs with a Patriots uniform.
For 80% a great of my portion life. Of my life, and even today, to this day, I still hate the Pats.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's never going to change.
Shout out to Cam though. I like Cam.
That's never going to change, but we finally have a change in the NFL. I think it's now put to rest that the Patriots are not the big dog in the NFL no more. Nobody's scared of them like we used to be. Nobody just automatically predict them to be in the AFC Championship game and probably the Super Bowl. It's kind of like the Spurs of the NBA. They finally came off that throne. And it's good to see.
And good stuff is coming down the pipeline.
Oh, absolutely.
Sunshine. Trevor Lawrence is coming. Justin Fields is coming. We've got some
Mac Jones. You got
boys coming.
You got the quarterback from Florida, Fletcher. So, I mean, not Fletcher. Trask. I'm sorry.
The guy out in BYU, Zach Wilson, he's pretty good too. He's got
Yeah.
a big cannon for an arm.
Yeah, and BYU is putting up big points on the board too. I mean, I think they're averaging 30 plus a game. But let's see what he does in the league because BYU doesn't play SEC football. But
Of course.
but yeah, definitely, you're absolutely right. We definitely got a lot of talent. But even the talent that's in the league now, you still got the Deshaun's, the Lamar's, the Pat Mahomes of the league, and they're coming in the league. Even in Josh Allen too, and even Justin Hubert coming in the league, balling.
Yeah.
Balling straight out the gate. So the NFL's in good hands. I know for a lot of people, and especially for a lot of Patriots fans, it's sad to see that, the Patriots are not the big dog, the big dominant force no more. And obviously Tom Brady's not there either. But it's time for a new king, a new person on the throne. It's time for a shape up in the league, and we have it now.
I think it's a cautionary tale, man, because to be honest, the Pats should have tanked this year. There was no reason for them to try to go out and get Cam. I know, you want to try to win, but they should have tanked this year and go and get Trevor Lawrence. There's no reason for them to do what they did. So to be honest, in the first time in a long time, they're not making playoffs, but at the first time in a long time, I can say this was a true and total fail by Bill Belichick.
I wouldn't say it's a fail necessarily. I don't think they were looking to tank because if things had played all right, think about it. When Cam got signed, and I was one of those people, I was like, man, the Patriots, low key. I'm not saying they'll be in a Super Bowl because they got to go through KC and Baltimore, but they can make some noise. Obviously, it didn't plan out like that this year, but they had some hiccups. They still don't have no weapons like that in New England, and Cam had, hiccups here and there in the season, but to be honest, when Cam got signed, a lot of people was like, yo, New England's, they could kind of be back where they were last year, but it didn't happen. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a fail.
They're in no man's land right now because they're not going to get anyone where they are. They're stuck with the QB, Cam, he is what he is at this point, and they're not good enough on any other phase of the game, special teams or defense for them to really make. So this turns into a 2-year build, and who knows is coming out. Coming out next year. Who knows what kind of quarterback is coming out next year? So it's just kind of like I feel like Bill Belichick he had pride. Of
course, I mean you've been dominating the league.
I lost Brady, but I can still do it. Well, what did you do really? Because the team didn't get better as the season went along. They win, loss. So they kind of in no man's land. That's the worst place to be when you talk about the NFL.
Yeah, they're kind of in that where the Falcons was for a year. It's kind of just in the middle of that pack. Like you're not the worst in the league, but you're not really progressing. You're not becoming one of the top teams to really make some noise. So I think they give the Cam thing one more year, and then after that they're gonna blow it up.
Yeah, they have to.
They're gonna blow it up. But speaking of blowing up, it's time to blow it up in Philly right now. Carson Wentz, I've been trying to fight for you. I've been trying to be on your side, but I'm sorry. Jalen Hurts is our future, and it's probably time to split ways with Carson Wentz.
A report has come out that Carson Wentz is disgruntled. He is not happy with being benched, and has basically given an ultimatum to Philly, saying if he's not going to be, because he feels like he's a starter. So he said, if I'm not going to be the starter moving forward, y'all need to trade me. And you know what I say to that? Not safe for work. So get ready. Good fucking bye, you trash. Okay? Here's why. I got a rant for this guy. Carson Wentz is the fakest MFer I have ever seen. All right? You want to come in here and tell me that you're playing for the Army of One and you got all this humbleness about you. I never bought it. Never. Why? Because guys who are big fishes in small ponds always have an inflated ego. You came from North Dakota. You were the worst or the best of the worst. Meaning, what's North Dakota? Are they D3?
I think D2.
Right? They're not Alabama. Okay?
No.
You are in your whatever year, maybe 5th year. This is your 5th year. Jalen is already a better quarterback than you. Okay? I will put my money on it.
All right,
Why?
are we just going by? Hold on. Let's pause on that. Are we going based off right now of what they're playing, or if Carson was healthy and Carson's playing really Carson football that we know Carson can play, or are we just going based off like today, right now?
I think it was a fluke anyway. Regardless, yeah, he got hurt. I think it really was the fact that they had weapons, yes, but when you look at what they have now, Jalen Hurts is making it work with the same guys. Ain't nothing changed.
But Carson made it work with them last year and made the playoffs.
Well, he trash now. So I don't have any excuses for this guy. I didn't believe him when he said he was happy for Nick Foles. I didn't believe that. Because if you were happy for Nick Foles, you should be able to be happy for Jalen Hurts as well. You're trash.
It's hard to be happy for a rookie taking your job. That's hard. That's hard to stomach.
It's the same mentality, though. If you say you're going to help out Nick Foles and do everything, granted, he was hurt. But you haven't had a season where you've been able to finish at all.
That's
and
true.
This season, it was, you were so bad that they had to take you out for a rookie. There is no fixing this relationship, and I hope they trade him next week. I hope not. I hope they trade them. I hope they trade him tomorrow.
I don't think they'll trade him this year. They're gonna let. I hope they let Jalen play out this year because I think this year is a wash for Philly. Let's really see what Jalen can do.
Well, it's not a wash. They're still in the playoff hunt.
Yeah, but there's
much.
no point going to the playoffs. Obviously, they're not getting past the first round.
You want to go to the playoffs if you have a chance.
Yeah, you do, but if they don't make it, it's not a big hoorah.
Right, of course.
Let Jalen but if they do make it, I hope they let Jalen play that playoff game too.
No, there's no going back.
There's
no going back.
Don't put Carson in for the playoff game.
No.
Put Jalen in. Let him get that under the belt. Even he gets smacked out there.
If
at least he
Carson
played
gets
the playoff
back
game.
in as a starter, that coach is getting fired because there's a disconnect between the coach and Howie Roseman and the owner of the team. Right?
Mm-hmm.
These guys, there's a reason. It's been well documented over the past 2 years that Carson is a malcontent, meaning he has an inflated sense of ego where he feels like he's above the team. He checks out of audibles. He does audibles. He checks out of plays that the coach. He's uncoachable. He's uncoachable. He should have been gone last year. They didn't see this coming. I do not believe that. Because when you have a guy that is not coachable and the only guy that's in his corner is the coach and the whole team don't want to play for you,
Doug Peterson is backing him up.
Why is it that this team is playing so well? They don't like Carson either. They don't like that fool because he makes questionable decisions. He plays scared as a cat. Like, he wasn't playing well at all, and it's all mental. Ain't nothing wrong with him. He ain't hurt. So how come the same guys are playing so well under Jalen? All right, big dog is here. Get Carson out of here. Trade him to the Colts. The Colts are going to need somebody for next season. Trade him out of there. Done. I'm done with Carson Wentz. Trash.
Well, I agree, but I'm not done with him for the same reasons. But I am done with him. I vouch for him for the past 3 years saying, all right, guys, it's not his fault. He's been injured. His weapon's been injured. But like you said, we're in year 5 now. So it's just come to the point where it's like, all right, he's still fairly young. He can still have a great career, believe it or not. But he just not here. He can go to Indianapolis. I mean, Phillip Rivers don't have much left in the tank. He can go to Colts. He can go to Jacksonville. But I want to go with Jalen, not just solely on the fact of getting rid of Carson. I just want to go with Jalen because that's where the league is going. You need a dual threat quarterback. Pat Mahomes, Deshaun.
My brother-in-law always tells me that Jalen is a running back with an arm. Shout out to Kenny because he always says that. And I really do believe that. He says he benches something crazy like 400 pounds. I don't know. But that makes sense. Makes sense to me. He just looks good. He played against true NFL talent. And Carson did not. Boom. There's your answer.
So I would like to see Jalen Hurts be our quarterback from